Hey everyone, welcome back. This video is going to be a short one, just a couple of minutes to talk about your upcoming test for algebra. Now, obviously depending on where you guys are at in the week and in the, how many minutes of this class have passed by the time that you're watching this video, your test could be in a couple days, your test could be next week. You should have plenty of time to study for it, hopefully. But if you guys want more videos or practice questions or something, just email me and I'll just put out new videos. And if it happens to be if it happens to be a topic that like if I'm making these videos 5 lessons ahead of where you guys are at, then that means you guys would be asking, if you're asking me for algebra problems when you see this video, I might already have made a whole bunch of videos for our new topic, which I believe is going to be linear functions. So if I make those extra review videos, I wouldn't put them in the same playlist. I'll just put them on the channel so that you guys can find them, but I won't put them in the playlist, so just so that it doesn't disrupt the order that we've got going so far. But yeah, so for this video, it's just going to be a couple of minutes. It's less of a test review and more of a test breakdown of like the different types of questions that you can expect to see. So it's just 3 broad topics. The first two focus on working with just one variable. So the first type of question, I'm not saying it's going to be just a 3-question test, but it'll be 3 types of questions. I'm not going to make it super long, probably not more than about 5-ish questions, maybe not even 5, maybe 4 questions. We'll see. Unless they're like really simple. I could give you like 2 or 3 of the really simple single variable ones where I give you the equation, and then less of the harder ones. But basically the way it's going to work is the first type of question will be like the first one we did in the last video, where it was just, I gave you the equation, there's only one variable, so there's only one equation, you just solve for the variable. It's like 3x plus 2 equals 6. Figure out what x is, right? Nothing overly complicated. You can bring a calculator so that it can help you out with any multiplication and division that might accidentally be a little bit uglier than I wanted it to be, calculation-wise. But yeah, so just a single variable, just a single equation, and I give you the equation, you just got to solve it. That's it for the first type. The second type of problem is going to be like the problem in the last video, the second one about Trent buying the new shoes. So I'll give you a word problem. You have to extract the information from the question to build your own equations. And it's your call if you want to build one equation or if you want to build 2 equations. So I'm writing it as it's a single variable problem, but if you want to set it up as a 2 variable problem, that's fine too. So you can set it up however you like. Whatever works best for you, go with that. So if you want to set it up as an x and y, and then solve for both of them, that's fine. If you want to set it up as an x and x plus 12, and then solve it that way, then that works too. So you can do it whichever way works best. I'm writing it in this breakdown as a single variable thing, but you don't have to solve it as a single variable problem if you don't want to. You can solve it as a 2 variable problem if you prefer. Okay, so you won't lose marks for solving it the other way from how I've intended it, as long as you get the right answer, of course. Alright, so that's that. You'll be given a word problem. You have to either construct one equation or construct 2 equations. Now, if it's a word problem, that means you should have let statements and you should have therefore statements. Alright, the then statements and stuff, I don't care so much about that. That's not overly important. Let statements you should have, therefore statements you should have, and if you set it up as a 2 variable problem, try and label the equations as like 1 and 2 or A and B or something like that. If you choose to set it up that way. You might not have to, because for question 3, that's the only one that is really going to be a 2 variable one, so I'll give you 2 equations with x's and y's mixed up in there, and I'll number the equations for you. Like, I'll label the equations so that you don't have to worry about it. I might use A and B, in which case, if you come up with a new equation, call it C, or call it like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to call it like 1 or something, but if I call them A and B, try and stick with the system that I'm using. So if I go with A and B, call it C. If I'm going with 1 and 2, call it 3 if you're making a new equation. But other than that, you won't have to worry about naming equations or anything whatsoever. So Yeah, so in this one, it'll just be I give you the two equations with the two variables, you gotta solve for x and y, and that's it. Um, but yeah, so that's basically it for this breakdown. One equation, one variable, solve for x. A word problem where you have to build an equation and solve for x, or if you prefer, build two equations and solve for x and y. And for the word problems, make sure you read the question because I might give you enough information for you to set it up as a two variable problem, but then only ask you for one of them. So don't do more work than necessary. You won't lose marks if you do extra work. Just don't do more work than necessary because you know you got a time limit. Um, so make sure you read the question carefully. And then this one down here, two equations that I'll give you, mixed up x's and y's all in there, and then you got to solve for x and y, both of them. All right, so that's about it for this test review. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I will be checking my email basically all the time for anything from you guys. I also need to get in touch about where you guys are at when I'm making this one. So I'm gonna keep going as though you guys are right about where I am. I know I'm putting out a couple of these videos a little bit later than I would have liked. The first week of classes got a little bit busy for me here at the university, so that's why this test review is coming out today, which is Sunday, and I meant to have it out in time for your class this past Friday. So I'm sorry I'm a little bit behind, but I'm gonna make sure I have that test ready for Tuesday on the off chance that you guys are ready for a test on Tuesday. But since I'm behind, that's probably not going to happen. But I'm going to do my best to get caught up this week and next weekend, so that there's no issue with this in the future. Alrighty, so good luck with your studying, and I will see you guys in our new unit. Have a good one.